Facebook. Thanks for my Instagram followers that are on. I'm going to invite a few people. This is actually really funny because my mom and I, we share this office. And so oftentimes what happens is, we tend to use the same computer. And so one time before I jumped on live on her Facebook feed and actually ended up pretty good. But today I realized it before I was like 15 or 20 minutes in. So now I have an opportunity to fix it quickly. Okay, so let's go. Let's get into it. So I don't want to waste too much time. So, hey, Leslie, I'm here to inspire today, right? So here's about parentpreneurship. So I did a lot of research on this because it's interesting. You hear about mompreneurs and you don't hear as much about dadpreneurs, but obviously entrepreneurship, hustle your face off, like get out there. But the parentpreneur struggle is something that a lot of people don't talk about. So parentpreneurs, like what we have right now is we have this capacity to raise our kids and create a great life for them. Well, for parents, like you have kids because you want to be able to, sow your seed, and you want to be able to, give the next generation something that you didn't have, or give them more, or give them something, right? Past like some of the greatness that you've experienced in your life and have them have a better life than you did. So that's one of the reasons why people have kids. Hi, Joel. One of the reasons why parents have kids. But then at the same token, like people either have a job or they have a business. They're entrepreneurs, right? So, why do you become an entrepreneur? Because maybe you don't want to be limited by a boss. You want to control your own time. You feel like you're better than everybody else and you could do it better than everybody else. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Yardena. Like, and you want to be able to have no cap on your income. You want to be able to be as successful as possible, but not be limited by the mindset or the vision of anyone else around you. Hey, Marco. So why do people become entrepreneurs? They have that desire and that hunger within them to be great or do something on their own, right? And they don't want to be limited by a boss. But it is like your own little baby, right? So the amount of care and time it takes to raise a child is very similar to the amount of care and focus and love and attention that it takes to grow a business. So how do you balance the two, right? It's a balancing act all the time, because I know in my career, before I was a parent, I always thought, oh man, when I'm a parent, I'm going to have a stronger focus, a stronger why, and more to fight for. And then after I became a parent, I was like, I'm so freaking exhausted all the time. Hey, Matthew, I'm so freaking exhausted all the time. Like, how am I going to devote my time to growing my business when I have these kids to raise, or I have this baby to raise, and I haven't slept, and I'm like trying to feed them, they're crying all the time, and all these things, right? But, I want you guys to see the similarities between creating boundaries in your life with your kids and raising them and creating the kind of adults that you want them to be, and also raising a business and getting it to the point where it runs without your, immediate attention necessarily, where you're able to delegate and you're able to get things up and running so it can run properly and be a good extension of you, right? So if your business is not successful, your kids are not successful, they always say that's a reflection on the kind of parent that you are or the kind of business owner that you are, right? So are you doing things right? Right? So here's what I want to ask you guys. So they're both similar, right? They require a lot of attention and love and care. Hey, Lewis, thanks for joining us. Please, you guys share this video. I'm super, super excited today, all about parentpreneurship. If you're not a parent, that's okay. You may be one in the future, so you're going to want this information. But share this. How many parents do you know out there, right? Lots of people are out there having babies and are still thinking about, how do I create a better life for my kids? So share it, please. All right. So you have to nurture both relationships with attention, your business and your kids, right? But you also have to plan and prioritize in order to be effective, right? So I wanted to ask this question up front because I get this question a lot, and thanks for joining. Like, tell me that I'm selfish because I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to create a great life for myself. And it kind of goes something like this. Well, I just really want to spend more time with my kids. Like, having a business and having a lot of money isn't that important to me. So basically saying that I'm money hungry, and the only reason why I became an entrepreneur is because I care more about money than I care about my family, which is totally offensive and pretty disgusting. And it really pissed me off when I heard it. But so the question is, am I selfish because I chose to be an entrepreneur instead of just having a regular job and focusing the rest of my time on my kids? Personally, I don't think so. I think being selfish is only being about yourself. Now, most entrepreneurs are motivated by their kids, right? If they're parentpreneurs, they're motivated by their kids. They're motivated to create a better life for them. They're motivated to be able to maybe have more money or have more freedom. So I love the fact that my kids are here in the office right now, but I got to tell you, I had to put them out of the room because I was like, if you guys are running around, I'm not going to be able to be 100% focused on what I'm doing, which is point number one, okay? Be focused and 100% present on what you're doing. Whether you're a parent, whether that, you have a little sister, whether you have a lot of distractions, you've got nieces, nephews, you've got family members, you've got drama, you've got anything that's going on in your life, you need to be 100% focused. If you have kids, you need to be 100% focused in the moment with them, or if it's your business or your job, you need to be 100% focused in that moment doing that, right? Or whatever that task is. The multitasking is a myth. So you're not going to be able to get the most effective you. You're not going to be the most effective parent, and you're not going to be the most effective business owner or salesperson or medical person or whatever. You're not going to be able to deliver effective care in any area if you're not giving 100% focus, right? So make sure that you're present in the moment while you're doing it, because at the end of the day, nobody needs a half-assed job done in either way. If you want to be a half-assed parent, spend your time on your phone when you're with your kids and see how much they listen to you when you're actually trying to get them to do something. It's really, really challenging. The other day, this actually stemmed because the other day we were in the office and my kids were running around. Like, mind you, my kids are not going back to school until after Labor Day, which is really awesome because I get to spend time with them, but really crazy when you're an entrepreneur and you're juggling the entire business and trying to make sure between me, my husband, and my mom, I feel like it's we're playing football every night, or hot potato, okay, who's got the kids? All right, pass them off. Okay, all right, so you got them from 1 to 4, and then I'll take them from 4:30 to so-and-so. That's what happens all the time, right? So for me, I'm grateful, but also it's a challenge. And so it's something that I have to designate my time. And so that's my point number 2, is make sure that you're scheduling things. I heard one of my mentors, his name is Steve Holbrook. You should follow him. I think his handle is Holbrook's World. He's excellent, really intense guy, and has an amazing story of becoming healthy, and he's an absolute champion. And he basically said, I'm going to paraphrase his quote, but it had something to do with schedule your time properly, or schedule your time and do what's in your schedule. Make sure that everything that you want to do, you schedule your time to do, and that you do everything that's in your schedule. Now, that sounds like a really simple task, but think about it, and I'd love for you guys to answer, how many of you guys have scheduled something in and not had the opportunity to do it because something came up, or you forgot, or you just went past it, or you did something else, or whatever? Yeah, it's really interesting. So how many of you guys have had that happen where you don't stick to your schedule for XYZ reason, right? So do your best to even schedule in, okay, I'm going to eat for 15 minutes. I'm going to, drive to my appointment for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour or wherever it is that you're going. I'm going to spend some time with my kids. Now, if I'm going to spend some time with my kids, I want to spend some quality time with my kids. I'm going to put my phone down. I'm going to turn it off. Rarely I turn my phone off, but I'm going to put it away, and I'm going to focus 100% attention on them. So when they're asking me questions or they want to talking to me, they're not feeling like I'm not 100% present, because that gives them the feeling that they're not that important. So then when you're like, hey, I need you to clean up, which is what happened the other day, I need you to clean up, and they didn't want to listen. Right? They didn't want to listen. They were running around, and it was like, I was so frustrated. And I know as a parent, you guys have been there, right? You've been in that position where you're like, and this is the kind of thing that nobody would ever say out loud, that you're like, I feel like I want to strangle my kid sometimes. Of course, I would never do it. But those are the kinds of emotions that come from stress, anxiety, you're trying to get something done, but they have no idea what you're trying to complete or what you're trying to get done. And it's very difficult for you to be able to explain that to them, right? And they don't care. They just want your love and they want your attention. So, and what are you doing this for? You have to remind yourself, this is my why. This is who I'm doing this for. People use their kids as an excuse. Oh, I'm not able to come because my kids have soccer, or my kids have that, or, whatever. I'm not able to do X, Y, Z. I don't have enough time because my kids, right? At what point do you start to resent your kids because you're not able to reach the dreams and goals that you want? Now, I actually have come across some people now that are like, well, I want to be able to have all these things in my life, and so I don't know if I'm going to be able to factor in having kids to do that. Okay, I respect that. At least you have an idea that, you're going to limit yourself as far as who you're going to bring into the world so that you can achieve what you want. I think having kids is one of the greatest things, and it's one of the most amazing miracles ever, right? But I wouldn't trade it for anything. The ability to be able to change our future and change the lives that are coming after us, like, that's a gift to me. But I also know that in business, I can change other people's lives. I can change people's lives for generations. I can change millions of people's lives if I want to. And do you want that? Is that something you want, right? So as a parentpreneur, it's not easy, okay? But I appreciate you guys getting on. Hey, Zasha, thanks for joining us. So create boundaries, you guys. What's your why? You know, your why is your kids. Okay, so then carve out the time. Make sure you designate the time. If you're not a parent, share this with a parent, because people are stressing out about it. I know if I stress about these things and I feel like, oh my gosh, sometimes I want to strangle myself, because I look back and I get angry at my kids because they're not listening to me in that moment, and I want to be able to do something for business, or I want to be able to do something and I'm not able to explain it to them, and I get angry at them. I feel bad afterward. I feel like I need to be a better mom. I need to be a better parent. I need to be able to more effectively communicate what's going on in my head without getting angry. I know you guys feel like that sometimes, right? If you're a parent, then I know that you get to that place, and it's always a work in progress, because I know, like, I was spanked as a child, and I knew, like, I could only go so far. Like, my mom didn't really spank me, my dad did, but like, I was spanked as a child, so I knew I had certain boundaries. I don't spank my kids, right? And so now it's you know, socially unacceptable and not legal and to put your hands on your kids. You can't do that, right? So you have to figure out better ways and more effective ways to be able to deal with your frustration, your anger, your stress, your anxiety. Isn't that the same in business, right? Do your clients make you crazy? Do the customers that you're working with at your job, do they make you crazy? Now, does it make sense for you to just lash out at them? No. If you're working a job, you're not going to lash out at them. Why? Because more so than anything, you're afraid of getting fired, right? But if you have a business and you're trying to create your business and create your brand, are you doing what you can to be able to control your effectiveness and how you deal with people? Do you internalize it better when it's a client, or do you internalize it better when it's your child? Like, how do you deal with those things? They're both coping mechanisms. They're both people that are going to do things that are unpredictable, your kids or your clients, right? So you have to learn. We have to learn how to get better at how to deal with those things. And so if we create those boundaries, here's my time boundaries. Here's the things that I will accept from my kids, right? And here's where I draw the line in the sand, and they're not going to cross it. But you guys also draw the line in the sand in your business, and make sure as an entrepreneur that you are choosing and making sure you're clear on what you'll accept and what you won't. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Carolyn. Carolyn, you're so awesome. I love the fact that you like comment and share, and you're just absolutely amazing. I appreciate you so much. Carolyn and I know each other from many, many, many years ago, and we don't have to say where, but really exciting. Okay, so I'm gonna just like let you in on a secret. Oh wait, Jewel, you have a question. Okay, balancing is difficult. Having to take the kids to sports, etc. What do you do? You know, it's so funny because that was my next topic. So balance does not occur daily. It's not something that you're always going to have. Like, so I said multitasking is a myth, and most of us try to do multiple things at one time, right? But balance is something that you're always striving towards. Like the world class are striving towards balance all the time. They're trying to be effective in business or their job. They're trying to be effective parents. They're trying to be an effective spouse. They're trying to be an effective mentor and an effective friend, all those things, right? But you are always going to be striving to be more balanced, right? So balancing is a myth, okay? Sometimes you're going to have to focus more on your family. Sometimes you're going to have to focus more on your business. Sometimes you may be focused more on your fitness or your faith, right? But you have to realize that all those things go together, like faith, family, fitness, fun, and finances, right? So those are the 5 F's: faith, family, fitness, fun, and finances. Those are the 5, right? But you're going to be out of balance with some of those things at any given time, right? Those are the ultimate 5 focuses that you think would be able to bring you to the happy life, to become the happy parentpreneur that you want to be. But sometimes you're going to have to focus more on one than the other, right? So when I'm doing my workout in the morning or my trainer is kicking my butt, I'm focused 100% on my fitness. At that time, I have to have my kids taken care of. Like somebody needs to watch them, my husband or my mom needs to be watching them at that time. And hopefully they're, feeding them at the same time. Because I have to be able to focus 100% on that, on what I'm doing to be able to be present and effective, right? I want to be able to get a result. I want to be able to get better. If I'm not able to focus on any of those things with any semblance of like organization, then I'm not going to be effective in any area. So think about those 5. Maybe somebody can type those so that we have them on the comments. I'd appreciate that. But what do? You have to balance it. So here's another thing that a lot of people don't necessarily do is they don't ask for help. So are you asking for help from the people around you? A lot of times people like have this idea that like, oh, they have to kind of handle it all themselves and they don't have to, they're not able to ask anyone for help, and they're, trying to I'll just figure it out. And then they internalize that stress because them trying to figure it out is them like, trying to like piece together, a situation like, oh, I can get somebody to watch my kids for this long, or maybe I can leave my kids alone for, like 15 minutes while I do this. And it makes you make bad choices is what it comes down to. So you make mistakes and then you look back and go, I screwed up. I should have done this. I should have done that. At the end of the day, we have to start leveraging our community. I hate to use the term like it takes a village, but it's true. Like, I don't think I could raise my kids if I didn't have my mom, my husband, if I didn't have I have an entire business of people that I trust enough that if I needed to have them watch my kids, I could. Do you have a community like that where you could leverage people around you? I don't think most people do, right? Like, I run a very unique business where I have so many people that I choose who I plan and want to work with. And so I don't want anybody working with me that I don't consider somebody who I would let watch my kids, right? You've been in a job at some point where you had people that you wouldn't necessarily let around your family. Like, I would let any of the people that I work with into my home. And so it's important to surround yourself in your business with people who you respect and people that you feel, kind of embody the same type of mentality that you have. Now, everybody's going to be different, but the mindset has to be similar, and there has to be some level of normalcy within us. And I use the term normal very loosely. But balance is a myth, okay? For me, oh, Joel, yeah, absolutely. So it's great to be able to bring your children with you. I think about, having left the medical field and coming into a business where I have complete freedom and I can have my kids at the office and I don't have to, try and get off work time or, to hide them from my boss or any of that kind of stuff. Like, I have the freedom to be able to do that. And sometimes we take it for granted, because I got to tell you, the other day when I was like, not happy that my kids wouldn't pick up their stuff, I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm so grateful that they're here. I was thinking like, oh my gosh, just pick up your flipping toys, But we do have to be reminded of the fact that we have all these blessings and all these all these things that we've been afforded because we're parentpreneurs and because we design our own schedule. And here are my girls walking in the room right now. So, at the end of the day, I'm grateful for all of the things that we've been able to create here. But being a parentpreneur is not easy. And it's something that you will have to kind of deal with all the time. Hey, Jasmine. Hey, you want to go live with us? Come here. Now she's hiding behind the chair. I guess she doesn't want to go live. She'll come in her own pace. Hi. You jumping? No? Okay. So that's basically most of what I wanted to talk about. I hope you guys have a couple of questions. Hey, Mia, thanks for joining us. Hey, say hi, Jasmine. Say hi. Okay, now she's being shy. Ariel will come over here, I'm sure, in a second. But control your calendar. Like I talked about it earlier, your time is so important. Making sure that, are you going to climb on the desk? Yeah, she's climbing on the desk. Now we have total chaos going on in here. There she is. Okay. It's all about these ones. But here's another thing, like, stop before you get in the door. You want to get on my lap? Okay. Stop before you get in the door. Okay. So yeah, you can. Look at that. Isn't that funny? So stop before you get in the door. So when you get home, put your phone away. Give your kids your 100% attention. Give your spouse your 100% attention. Turn it off for a little bit. It's not always easy to be able to do that, but you got to figure out a way. You got to figure out a way to be able to give them your undivided attention. Now, I am not giving them my undivided attention right now. Are you always able to do that? No, sometimes stuff is going to come up. don't beat yourself up because you're not able to be perfect, right? Nothing in life is perfect. Stop it. Nothing in life is perfect, right? So we're in a position now, we're not watching a movie. This is our movie, Ariel. So I'm probably gonna sign off here in a second because if we have a lot of whining going on, this is just gonna end. So I would love for you guys to ask some questions. And all right, Ariel, we're gonna have to stop this. There's no movie. Maybe we can give you the tablet over there, but that's how it's gonna go. Yes, patience, Joel. Patience is a very important thing, and we have to be able to teach it. First of all, we have to be able to master it ourselves, and then we also have to be able to teach it to our kids. And so we have to realize that patience, I always used to joke and say, like, I don't have that bone, but as a parent, you have to learn how to become more patient, and you've got to get better at these types of things. And how are your kids ever going to learn how to be more patient if you don't learn that patience yourself? Yes, she's climbing over the desk and going back to the chair on the other side. So at a certain point, you're going to, Jazz, stop. At a certain point, you're going to learn how to deal with these things better. And your kids are also going to learn that at the end of the day, you're like, my ultimate focus is them, but I also want to be able to create a better life for them. And so I have to blaze that trail for them and show them that you can be multiple things. You know, my ultimate vision and goal is that I want my kids to be able to say, my mom was a super strong mom, and she was an incredible woman, and you know, she fought really hard and she worked really hard and she loved us, and she was tough on us sometimes because I'm not always an easy person to deal with. And I know that you have to instill in your kids the work ethic and the beliefs and really just being the kind of person that does things at a high level. If you don't establish that for your kids up front, they'll never learn it. Your teachers, the teachers that they have through school, are not going to teach them that. They're going to learn that from you. So they need to learn that you can be 100% present and you can be focused on creating something better for them. But they also need to learn that, you know, there's times where you have to shut it off, where you have to spend your time and be with them and love them and read with them and do the things that you know are going to help them grow. You're growing too, and you're growing your business. And so you're going to have to split your attention. Hey, Angie, you're going to have to split your attention at different times. But you have the capacity to be able to create that life for them and create that life potentially for you, your family, and for future generations. And so that's why I'm an entrepreneur, because I don't want my kids to ever rely on somebody else for their future. I want them to know that they can rely on themselves. I want them to, you know, fall asleep listening to me doing live, or, you know, come in here and realize that I'm talking to the world right now. I want them to realize that. I want them to know that I sit with clients, but I also want them to know that I can turn it off and I can go for days and I can leave in the middle of the day and do whatever I want to do to be able to spend my time and 100% focus on them. They deserve that. You deserve that. I wanted to be an entrepreneur because I knew that I didn't want anybody's thumb on me, and I wanted to be able to dictate my life. That's the example that I want them to see. So, you know, I appreciate you guys jumping on. Oh, Jewel had one more question. How do you keep your cool and discipline and be productive with your clients and projects? So, you know, I talked about this before, not exactly this topic, but I've talked about the fact that, you know, I'm not the most patient person, and you have to learn how to keep your cool. You know, flying off the handle or getting angry or yelling or any of that stuff, I think that's almost the easy thing, right? The easy way to deal with something, like, that's easy. It boils up inside of you and it just goes, right? But it's harder and takes more effort and more control and more training to be able to harness that energy and think, stop, okay, let me just wait for a few moments. Let me count to 10 or count to 30, or even I heard, like, take the first 90 seconds after you have a reaction to something to stop before you actually take any type of action with it, to rethink it, and then find a better way to respond, right? So, hey, Dan. So I think it's really interesting, though, because you never really know, you know, in what situation where you could boil over and be like that. But discipline with your kids or discipline within your business is super, super important, because clients, customers, what have you, projects that you're working on, they're going to make you crazy. They're going to test you. They're going to try you. They're going to make you expose you for, like, the weakest side of you, right? Because when you're in those stressful moments and you're really trying to get after it and have the best, you know, outcome possible, you've got that high level of stress. And so that stress, stop it. That stress tends to be able to put more like more focus and more intensity on what you're doing, and so your reaction may be worse than it would be if you were calm, right? So what I do is I try to harness it, control it, and do my best to be able to, you know, create the most appropriate response for what I'm dealing with. And so when I'm dealing with a child that wants to just make faces, blah, 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 right? There's only so much that I can do about it, right? I'm not going to yell at her. That's her, and she should be herself. But at the end of the day, I want you guys to see that you can be an entrepreneur, you can be a parentpreneur, you can raise healthy, self-assured, you know, excited, happy clients, or happy clients. There, see, I had to have some slip up somewhere, right? So you can have like happy kids and have a great life, but you can also create a great business. So it's not easy, and it's something that you're going to work out all the time. But at the end of the day, you're working that hard because it's worth it. So I appreciate you guys jumping on. I hope you guys got something out of it. Please share this video, send it out to everybody that you know, send it out especially to people that are parents. Did you guys change dresses? See, I didn't even notice, they switched dresses. Anyway, so be inspired, go out there, GGinspire signing off, go out there and be inspired for a great life, guys. Take care.